F01, not sure if I saw him out there. And then Dale King. It's kind of the end of the day on a Sunday. We've had really bad weather twice today, so we're not expecting a lot of cars to stick around, but they are about to come down. The pace car lights are off here at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. This is the first live stream start of a PSSA race. Very excited to see these cars take the green. I've got one already coming into the pits. But here we go, green, green, green. The Radical gets a little bit squirrely there. That is Rayton Nickel, but he keeps it. I don't know how he was able to do that, but coming around the outside, more of like the rain line, is that Revolution. Great start here. And Scott, how cool is it to see another series start here at Road Atlanta?
Oh, it's very cool. Again, we have this brand new prototype Sprint Series Association, and we have the both Radical, that is a brand new Radical, a 2022 SR10 XX that was on display 2 weeks ago at NOLA Motorsports Park that they opened their North American Radical Cup Series with. John Field actually won all three of those. Field was at a Revolution, but those two cars that went through turn number one, there's two distinct lines through turn number one, the Mission Foods turn. You can either go kind of the protective inside classic Apex line, or you can go around the outside. That's the faster line, but they converge at the same exit point. Then you have to get all the way over to the right side of the track to set up for turn two. But these Revolutions, a lot of power trying to be put down on that wet surface, and you saw that squirreliness by the Radical and the Revolution.
Yeah, and you can see that the Revolution is just or the Radical, I'm sorry, is a little bit narrower. Cuts a little bit smaller field, but the Revolutions, as we see there, there's Rayton Nickel coming around the outside of Zach Mosley as they come into Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers, turn 10A, 10B. And I love the livery there on Zach Mosley's car, the number 55, right behind Rayton Nickel.
Yeah, Radical, developed by Paul Abbott, and he also is the developer of the Revolution Car Company. So both of these cars developed and designed by the same person. Again, this new Radical is a little bit faster than the Radicals that have been before it. It also handles a little bit better, and you mentioned the other attribute, which is aerodynamics. It's just a little bit narrower than the 2021 or 2020 Radicals.
John Field off to an early lead, the class of the field right here. But we're looking at Rayton Nickel and the battle between Rayton Nickel and Zach Mosley. There's Zach Mosley there, and that's Revolution A1 500 SC. You can see they're getting into the wet bit there, down at the bottom of the downhill S's to the uphill S's as they come around the Bridge Hall Bennett turn 5, coming into three-dimensional services group turn 6. And it looks like right now Rayton Nickel has his tires back and is catching up to John Field.
Yeah, Rayton Nickel won yesterday. John Field, a world-class IMSA driver, he and his son Clint Field won an LMP prototype championship as they drove together. And again, Field was in the Radical 2 weeks ago. He's now in the Revolution. Field, who is again world-class driver and won all three events in the opening round of the North American Radical Cup. It's ironic he is in the Revolution, and Rayton Nickel, who usually drives the Revolution, is in the Radical.
And it looks like here now the three Revolutions are going to have a little bit of a battle coming into Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers, turn 10. And there it is again, Zach Mosley over Peter Dick and James Abbott.
Those
beautiful cars.
Those Revolutions only weigh about 1,600 pounds. It's an all carbon fiber body. It's an all carbon fiber chassis. Even the cockpit is all carbon fiber. All of that, again, trying to get weight savings. It's I believe a 427 engine in the Revolution 427 and the A1 500 SC, with the SC being the newer of the two cars. The SC a little bit lighter. It still has really good power, has extremely good handling. It has paddle shifters, 6-speed sequential transmission. It's a beautiful car to drive. And again, we're looking for more and more of these cars as this will be joining us at select speed tour events across the country.
Yeah, it looks like a really fun car to drive. It's going to be a fantastic series, especially with the support of Hankook tires. So that is James Abbott there in the number 74. And I think Zach Mosley has dropped pretty far back. I wonder if he's had problems or if he's just trying to check out the car. That's Nathan Duckles there in the number 65.
These cars make such great sounds too. You know, so much of auto racing is the sound of the car. These prototypes, what better place for Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta than to have prototypes, the home of the world-class Petite Le Mans, as we've had Audis in the prototype class, Peugeots, and now again here we are again, as you said, with the birth of a new series. Raiden Nicole was the inaugural winner yesterday in their first race, and looks like he might be trying to make it 2 in a row, but John Field is certainly at the moment preventing that from happening.
Yeah, John Field coming into Mission Foods, turn 1 here at Road Atlanta in that number 95. That is a 2022 Revolution A1 500 SC. All of these cars are available. There's actually Revolution and Radical dealers across the country, around the globe. Uh-oh. Off as there is Raiden Nickel at turn 3, coming through the dirt. I don't think he has any splitter damage, and then rejoins the track here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta.
I don't think these cars are designed to be off-road there, Ben, but he certainly did. It's very easy to do. You're setting up for turn 2, a blind left-hander going up the hill, and then you have to go back really quickly to the right. You're also trying to go up at least 1 or 2 gears in these cars to get maximum drive out of there to go up through the S's towards Bennett Bridge Hall turn 5. So very easy to do. He's not the first, won't be the last to do that. Yeah,
James Abbott there chasing him right behind him, currently in 3rd overall. Had to start at the back. We got a replay coming here. You can see Raiden Nickel just go a little bit too deep, jumps the curb, comes right through. Not anything too rough. It looks like the splitter, everything stayed intact. So now just brushing the dirt off his tires and back at it as we look at the leader here coming into Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers, turn 10A and 10B.
Did I mention that the Radical was also durable, Ben?
Yes.
No, that's a testament to the construction of these cars. That was not a small hit. You go over the curbing at turn 3, that is not a small curbing. You can use it, but going through the dirt and the grass, again, once you get off course here, it's very bumpy. There's been rain all day, unfortunately. Great job of car control being done by Raiden Nickel.
Yeah, John Field, Raiden Nickel, James Abbott, Zach Mosley, Peter Dick, Mark Clark, and Nathan Duckles. That's our 7 here. But look at this battle for the lead. I don't know how it happened, but Raiden Nickel, maybe he got the tires up heated enough, or he's just found something, but he's really found some speed here on John Field.
Yeah, again, Raiden Nickel winning yesterday in that Radical. John Field very familiar with that Radical coming up behind him. He drove one just 2 weeks ago at NOLA Motorsports Park. Again, John Field, a world-class driver. He's been on Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta in an IMSA prototype with his son. He was one of the participants in one of the earlier Petite Le Mans races that we had when Don Pinot's first developed the American Le Mans Series. Don Pinot's responsible for basically the resurrection of Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta to its beautiful facility that we have in front of us today, Ben.
Yeah, and there's Mark Clark coming around.
We haven't talked about the Sports 2000s much, but Sports 2000 was a class developed over in England. It was based on the Group 6 World Sports Car Championship makes, something like the Lola T12 or the Chevron. And they came over here to the United States, were wildly popular. The class ran for 33 years in SCCA, Carrera being the car of choice, but Swift DB2s and 5s also very quick.
Now, Raiden Nickel passed Mark Clark there, puts him a lap down. But I got to say, Raiden Nickel has found something because he has absolutely taken off. Going through the grass there may have been the best thing to happen to him. And then he's followed by John Field and James Abbott, who are having a great battle for second.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Raiden Nickel has found something or John Field may have lost a little bit of pace, but I don't know how he did that either. Again, going off course, usually you are backed off. That's the normal aspirations of a driver, especially that way. But he actually has increased his pace.
There goes the number 74. James Abbott now into overall second place around John Field as they come into three-dimensional services group turn 6.
And Mark Clark in that Swift DB2, he's followed by Kevin Whitman, also in a Swift DB2. I believe the other Swift is a DB5, a little bit newer model of Sports 2000, but still extremely quick. Had about 140 horsepower, top speed of 140 miles per hour down this long, what we call straightaway. Even though it's not really straight, it kind of snakes back and forth, but it's definitely flat out. John Field, I don't know if he's lost a little bit of speed or not, but Braden Nickel, once he was able to get by him, is beginning to check out on the rest of the field, Ben.
Yeah, he's pulled a huge gap, that Radical over these Revolutions. Beautiful livery, that old Porsche livery of Mark Clark there in that Swift.
Now, you mentioned Wolf. We have a couple of drivers that have Wolves that joined us somewhere along in the SVRA Speed Tour cross-country schedule that we have. We're hoping to see them, the GR008 and the SM. Both of those cars would fit beautifully in this class. Hopefully they'll be joining us later on in the year.
Yeah, we'd like to see some Wolves there coming out with us here. We got good shots of Zach Mosley coming into Mission Foods, turn 1 at Road Atlanta for the Mission Foods Speed Tour, coming up over the hill. Then around this turn 3, coming to downhill S. You can see the line is drying out just a little bit. And then there's the puddles.
Yeah, more and more as the cars run across Mission Raceway Road Atlanta, it helps to dry it out. Hopefully we're through with the rain for the weekend. We've had enough of that. I would think that the Revolution and the Radical dealers both have to be extremely pleased with what they see. Cars are very quick, they're very durable, they're very fast, and the drivers seem to be having just an absolute great amount of fun in them.
Ray Nickel has the fastest lap, the last lap, a 1:29.387. That's pretty fast here in the wet. Here comes Rayden Nickel now, our leader, into Mission Foods turn 1. You can see that's kind of, they've adopted a halo system for driver safety, which we applaud. We're going to be going that to, we have that in our FR series, and we're going to that, I believe, next year in the F4 series.
And I believe, if I remember correctly, it's actually a double halo system, because they were very concerned about the carbon fiber cockpit part, because they were trying to save some weight, that they were doing a double halo system. I believe I remember that correctly. They were very concerned. These cars are very quick. Again, 1:29, I believe he said, was the quickest time. That is really getting around here on a damp track. And again, this has a lot of elevation change. It has a lot of blind turns. You're going uphill, downhill. You're switching directions from right to left very quickly. So speed, handling, braking, all of those are very paramount to getting a good lap time. And these prototypes, again, very suited to Mission Raceway Road Atlanta.
Well, so far I'd say it's a very good showing for this new PSSA series, the Prototype Sprint Series Association. As we're looking here at the number 74, James Abbott, currently in second place overall, came from the back of the field. James Abbott is in a 2021 Revolution 500 SC. And there's our leader, Rayden Nickel.
And Ben, I think it's very impressive too. This series was not announced till, I believe, in either mid-January or at the end of January. So to have the amount of cars that showed up is very impressive for this new Sprint Series Association. Shows the faith of both Radical and Revolution to have cars here, have dealers here, and I'm hoping that they are liking what they're seeing. Again, this would be a great addition to the speed tours, whether it be here at the Mission Food Speed Tour on the West Coast, Lime Rock, Road America. Road America would be a great course for these prototypes, as fast as it is, and that long front straightaway it has. So hopefully they're liking what they're seeing, and we'll see this class grow during the year.
Well, there goes James Abbott, getting a little bit sideways there, coming through turn 5.
Proving that the track is not completely dry.
Yes.
Again, Road Atlanta, it dries very quickly, but there are parts of the course that have what are called weepers. The downhill to the uphill transition at turn 4 up to the S's is one of those where you have to be sure that the car is completely straight going over those weepers. If you're out of line just a bit, it can really catch you out. And we saw that evident in the last race with the really quick hands of Robert Spence that caught that car just about to get away from him. Turn 10, another one of the places, the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers, what I call braking zone, because you're coming from your highest horsepower, fastest speed in these cars down to 10A, where you really have to get on the binders. You're going down through the gears, you're turning left, and then immediately turning right, trying to get on the power as quickly as possible to carry as much speed out from underneath the bridge that goes all the way down this front straightaway to the Mission Foods turn number 1. A lot of action going through turns 10A, 10B, all the way across the start-finish line and down into turn 1.
Lots of elevation changes here at Road Atlanta. I've talked to a lot of really great drivers, and I've never heard one tell me that they feel like they've got Road Atlanta dialed in.
And that was part of the that was part of the allure of this track when it first opened, and it still is. This track was carved out of the topography. It was not kind of made from the topography or massaged any. If the track went up with the topography, that's where the track went. There's a 4-story drop from turn 11, the bridge turn, down into turn 12. The only other track that has more elevation change is WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. And again, all you see once you come out from underneath that bridge is blue sky. You don't see any track at all. And especially during the damp, that is a very challenging part of the track. But as much as you go downhill from turn 11 to 12, you go uphill from turn 1 to 2. You go downhill at turn 4, back up to the Bennett Bridge Hall turn 5, and then to the only bank turn here at Mission Raceway Road Atlanta, three-dimensional services group turn 6.
We've got full course yellow here.
Uh-oh.
Not sure what's happened here. I'm listening in on race control. But did I hear you say you were at the 1970 Can-Am race?
Yes, I was. Actually, my dad and I announced the first race here ever held, which is a regional race. And then the next professional race about I think 2 weeks after was the 1970 Can-Am. Bruce McLaren, I'm not Bruce McLaren, Denny Holm and Peter Revson were on the front row. Jackie Stewart and Lothar Mochenbacher were in the second row. That was the only race, again, more of the history of Mission Raceway Road Atlanta, the only race that McLaren did not win in the entire 1970 year. In fact, Tony Dean in a Porsche, 2-liter Porsche, won. That was his only win of his Can-Am career. In fact, when the green flag was thrown on that Can-Am race, the windows reverberated so much because they didn't expect that much horsepower and that much, sound coming up. And I looked at my dad, and my dad looked at me, and he had that kind of look on his face like, no, that's not supposed to happen. But that was some great times. 1970, the first year of the what is now known as Mission Raceway Road Atlanta, as we opened the track, and again opening a new series, the Prototype Sprint Series Association at Mission Raceway Road Atlanta on this weekend. Not here. Not here. Well, that's a shame to end this way, but still a very successful debut for the series, the Prototype Sprint Series Association. Ben, very much enjoyed working with you, and again seeing you at the Mission Foods Atlanta Speed Tour, and enjoyed working here with the Greenlight TV crew. Great shots, and my hat's off to them. It has been miserable weather out there, yet your camera crew has been out there through it all, through this entire day. My hats are off to them, and you're providing great coverage and great commentary, of course. And again, if you have not signed up for it, you need to go to speedtour.tv/YouTube and take advantage of this great live streaming action. So Ray Nickel 2 for 2 this weekend. Maybe that off-course excursion woke him up. Thank you again, Ben. Again, a pleasure to work with you.
Well, thank you, Scott. Thanks for joining us. Lots of fun to have you here. And thank you, Scott. We're going to show off some highlights here from this PSSA race with Group 7, 9, 11 Mission Speed Tour. Here come the highlights. Great start here. The first start, we have live streamed to PSSA. But you can see there, Rayton Nickel getting past, I believe, by the 55 of Zach Mosley. Then Rayton Nickel coming back at Big Machine Vodka spiked coolers. And then look at this three-way battle with all three of these Revolution cars just barely tiptoeing through the rain. There's Rayton Nickel going over through the grass, jumping up on the curbs. But that was what you said, Scott, just kind of woke him back up. And so him to come back, take the lead, and then just be the class of the field here. And unbelievable. So just a really fun race, unfortunately, ended on yellow. Here come the results. Group 5A, 7, 9, 11 PSSA. Rayton Nickel first, James Abbott second, Zach Mosley third, Peter Dick fourth, John Field fifth, Mark Clark sixth, Nathan Duckle seventh. And according to Tony Perella, and you have to believe what he says because everything he says has come true so far in the last 10 years I've worked for him, we're going to see this field grow to like 30 to 35 cars by the end of the series. But that does it for the PSSA and these 911 cars. And I'm going to send it away to a commercial.